Have you ever noticed how everyone online talk about calls and puts like it's the easiest thing in the world? Buy a call if it's going up, buy a put if it's going down. And you're sitting here like, okay, that sounds simple enough until you actually try it. You buy a call, the market moves your way, and somehow the trade is still red. That's when it hits you. There's way more to this than just up and down. And I've also been there before. It's frustrating when you're doing what everyone says, but your results don't match. So in this video, I'm going to break down the real difference between calls and puts in a simple and easy to follow way. Because once you really understand this, you'll see the options market in a whole new light and trade with way more confidence. When I first started with options trading, I thought I had it all figured out. I remember buying a call on Tesla one morning and the stock went up just like I thought it would, but somehow the trade was red. And I sat there staring at my screen like, wait, what did I do wrong? The price went up, so that means that I should be making money now. So of course, like everyone, I started to search for answers online, and that's when I fell into the rabbit hole of so many different people talking about things like time decay, Greeks, delta, theta, and all these things just did not make sense to me at the time. It was so much I had to take a break. And over time, I realized something very important. And it wasn't that options was too complicated. It was that no one explained them in plain English. And once I finally broke it all down in a simple way for myself, it started to click. And that's exactly what I'm about to do for you in this video. So by the end of this video, you'll understand what calls and puts really are, why that difference matters in the market, and how you can completely change the way that you look at your trades. We're going to break it down into 3 simple parts. First, why it felt confusing at first for me, how everything finally started to make sense, and how I help others learn it today much faster than I did. So let's talk about why this really matters. If you're watching this, you're probably not chasing those 5-figure screenshots that you see online, not just yet, but you want to understand what you're doing so that way your trades make sense, gain or lose in the market. And I totally get that. Most people who follow me are juggling a full-time job, family, responsibilities, and so many other things, and they just want a plan that is clear, steady, and fits their life. And listen, I'm not against using signals or trading ideas. Currently, I share my own setups every single week here on this channel for the gold market, and then I also have LaKiesha's trading watch list at watchlist.lakieshatrades.com, and I also share it in a couple of other communities that I host. Signals can actually be a great way to spot opportunities and see how other traders think. But here's the thing, the real growth happens when you start to understand the why behind them, which is why in LaKiesha's trading watch list, I do give the why behind them in my other communities. Because when you can't look at a setup and say, oh, I see what they saw there, you stop guessing at that point and you start connecting the dots. And that's when trading starts to feel a lot more simple and your progress starts to speed up. And that's exactly what this video is about. It's about helping you understand calls and puts in a way that finally makes sense. And by the way, if you like seeing trade ideas every single week, once again, check out LaKiesha's trading watch list, and that's where I share the markets that I'm watching, typically in finance, tech, gold, and a few others. So that way you can start spotting real setups with me in real time every single week. The link is in the description box below. Now, if you want more structure while you learn, that's exactly what my programs are built for. The Trading Launchpad helps people take their first confident trade in 30 days or less, and the Profitable Traders Academy is for traders who already know the basics, or maybe they are new in trading and they want to build real consistency every single month. And all of those links are below in the description box, but don't click off yet because I'm about to break down what actually makes calls and puts so confusing at first and how to finally make sense of them. So for me, here's what made calls and puts so tricky in the beginning. Everyone says a call means that you think the price is going up and a put means that you think the price is going down. And yes, that is totally true, but that's only part of the story. When you buy a call, you're not just pressing a button and hoping that it goes up. You're actually buying a contract that gives you the right to buy shares at a certain price at a certain date. wait. Think of it this way, like putting a stock on hold that you're locking in a chance to buy later if the price moves the way you want it to move. And when you buy a put, you're basically just doing the opposite of that. You're buying the right to sell shares at a certain price before the date. When you buy a put, it's kind of like having insurance. And if the price drops, you're protected. If this sounds confusing, don't worry, because in a few minutes, I'm going to walk you through a simple example that makes this part super clear. Because this is where most people get tripped up. They'll think if I'm right about the direction, then I'll make money. But that's not always true, because every option has a clock on it. That clock is called time decay, also known as theta if you're looking at an options contract. Every single day that passes, so the question isn't just, will this stock go up? That contract lose just a little bit of value. So you could be right about the direction, but the stock doesn't move fast enough. If the stock doesn't move fast enough, then you can still lose money. And I definitely learned that the hard way. I remember when I bought calls on Tesla stock and I was thinking, okay, let me go ahead and buy it because I think the price is going up. And then by lunchtime, I was down 40%. The stock didn't crash. It actually stayed up. The thing that changed was the volatility, and then also the time decay was something I didn't think about as well. And then that's when it clicked for me. This game isn't just about the direction, it's about the timing and the structure. And the crazy part about all of this is that most people give up right before this part starts to make sense. What changed everything for me was when I stopped thinking about options as gambling and started to see them for what they really were. A simple way to be a part of the move without owning the stock yet. So let me give you a quick example. Imagine if you want to buy a house for $300,000, but you're not quite sure if it's the right time. So instead of buying the whole house, you pay a seller $5,000 to hold that price for the next few months. If the price goes up, great, you got a deal and you can buy it at the cheaper price that you've already locked in. But if the price doesn't move or even drop, you can walk away and all you lose is that $5,000. That's exactly what a call option is. You paid for the option to buy something later, but you're not forced to do it. Now let's go ahead and flip that. Let's just say you already own the house, but you're worried that the market might fall. You pay a small fee to make sure that you can still sell it at today's higher price if the market drops. That's what a put option is. You paid for protection, basically a safety net in case things go down. So once I saw the market in that way, everything started to make sense. A call lets you take advantage of rising prices, and a put helps protect yourself or your profits when the price falls. And the best part about all of this is that you can use that same logic whether you're trading Tesla, Apple, gold, or some other market. The rules are the same. And that's when the concept of options started to really make sense for me. Because now I wasn't guessing. I was planning for the upside and for the downside. And here's something else that shifted the way that I thought about this as well. Your brain naturally wants certainty. It wants to know, if I do this, will it work? And with options, that certainty does not exist. Not because the system is rigged, but because you're dealing with probabilities and not promises of things actually happening. So think about it like this. When you buy a stock, you're buying ownership. You own a tiny piece of a major corporation, and it can go up and it can also go down, but it's yours until you decide to sell. And with options, you're not buying ownership. You're buying a window of time to participate in a move, and that window has an expiration date. It's, will it go up soon enough? And that's the part that people don't understand when they start to trade options. They see a stock moving and they think, I should grab this call option right now. But they don't ask themselves, how much time do I actually need for this to play out? And then that's when the losses happen. Not because they were wrong about the direction, but it was because they didn't give themselves enough time or enough runway in order for the idea to play out. And I remember sitting on a trade once. It was Apple, and I was convinced that it was going to break out. I bought a call option with 2 weeks until expiration. The stock did break out 3 weeks later, so that meant that I lost, but I was right about everything except for the timing. And in options, timing is everything. Your mind starts to shift when you understand that being right about the stock isn't enough. You also have to be right about when it's going to move and how fast it's going to move as well. That's not meant to scare you. It's meant to prepare you for the markets, because the traders members who last long in this game are the ones who respect the clock. And that's going to be the expiration date of the contract that you're selecting. Now let's talk about what happens when you start to get it. When I work with people inside of the Profitable Traders Academy, I see the same thing happening over and over again. Someone comes in thinking that they need to learn everything before they can actually trade. They think that they need to know every single Greek, every indicator, every advanced strategy, but that is totally not true. What they really need is to understand the core concept, and then they could see it in action. So I like to start simple. We look at a real chart, we identify a setup, and then we ask, do I think that this is going up or down, and how much time does this contract need? That's it. From there, we can choose a call or a put, and we can pick an expiration date that gives us enough room to be right. And here's what's crazy. Once people see this process in action a few times, it stops feeling random. They start to recognize different patterns that they should see inside of the market, and they start to say things like, oh, I see why you picked that strike price, or that makes sense why you went with 3 months instead of 7 days. That's when the real learning happens. Not when they memorize definitions or chart patterns, it's when they start thinking like a trader. One of my members told me that she used to just copy trades that she found online, and now she looks at the same setup and says, oh, I get it. I know exactly what's happening here. That's the real progress that you want to see inside of your trading. When you stop waiting for someone else to tell you what to do and to start connecting the dots for yourself, that's when trading really starts to click. And honestly, that's how you start growing faster than you ever thought you could. Also, inside of the Profitable Traders Academy, we take it even further. That's where people who are beginners, or maybe people who have an understanding of what the basics are, come to build consistency. Because knowing what a call and put are one thing, but knowing when to use them, how to size them, and how to manage them, that's a totally different level of understanding. We focus on structure there, how to plan your trades before the market opens, how to review them after they close, how to identify what's working and repeat it. Because consistency does not come from luck. There is no such thing as luck in these markets. It comes from doing the same things over and over again until they become second nature. And here's the thing, you don't need to trade every single day in order to build that. A lot of my members only trade a few times a week or sometimes a few times a month. But no matter what they select, they are trading with intention. They know why they are in and when they need to get out and how much they are risking for every single trade. That's the difference between someone who's gambling and someone who trades with a plan. And once you have that plan, anxiety starts to fade. You stop checking your phone every 5 minutes, you stop second guessing every single move, and you start to trust your process because you've built something that actually works for you. So now, you understand the real difference between calls and puts, and more importantly, why that difference matters. Calls give you the right to buy and to take advantage when the prices rise. Puts give you the right to sell and protect yourself when the prices fall. But here's the thing, knowing what they are is just the first step. The real progress comes when you learn how to use them strategically. And that's exactly what I teach inside of the Trading Launchpad and Profitable Traders Academy. When you pair understanding with structure, mentorship, and real trade examples, you start to learn faster and start to trade smarter. A year from now, you could still be trying to piece all the information together on your own, or you could already be trading with a plan, with confidence, and seeing results that you can actually measure. And that starts with taking action today. The links are in the description box below, and on the screen now, you're going to see some videos that's going to help you be able to trade with a lot more clarity and confidence. I'll see you there.